their titles have been in the USAF for many years, but which have had their capabilities gradually improved in one way or another, or hugely engaged in recent combat operations. Indeed, it's certain that all of the pilots flying in the Flypast we're about to see have a great deal of recent time in operational theatres in their logbooks. It looks like we have the aircraft in a slightly different order to yesterday, because the first one I can see running in with its refuelling boom down is the Boeing Kc135 Stratotanker, the USAF's ubiquitous air-to-air refuelling tanker. It's been in the Air Arm service, starting off with the early A model since June 1957. This one comes to us from the 351st Air Refueling Squadron, part of the 100th Air Refueling Wing at RAF Milton Hall. The aircraft able to offload up to 200,000 pounds of fuel in the course of one mission. As it flies past there, you can see the famous D in a square emblem, recalling the unit's heritage as the 100th Bomb Group flying B-17s from the UK during World War II. Then we have the Lockheed Martin C-130J 30 Hercules from the 37th Airlift Squadron, the 86th Airlift Wing at Ramstein Air Base in Germany. This is the latest stretch transport derivative of the C-130 family, US Air Force service for C-130A in 1956. In the second part, we have one of the new special missions derivatives of the C-130J family, the MC-130J Commando Combat Transport Special Operations Tanker. Just as the 3rd Air Refueling Squadron is sold permanently in Kc-135 units in Europe, so the 37th Airlift Squadron is the only operator permanently stationed in Europe in the USAF of the standard Hercules transport. The Kc-135, an aircraft that has really developed from the early A models. Their smoky Pratt & Whitney J57 engine is now replaced by much more fuel-efficient CFM56 turbofans. Now we have our three Eagles, a pair of F15Cs and a single F15 Strike. Two C models from the 493rd Fighter Squadron, the Grim Reapers, the Strike Eagle from the 494th Fighter Squadron, the Mighty Black Panthers, all of them part of the 48th Fighter Wing, the Liberty Wing, with the Statue of Liberty in its emblem, at RAF Lakenheath, Suffolk. And then we have two Lockheed Martin F-16CM Fighter Falcons. They from the 480th Fighter Squadron from the 52nd Fighter Wing at Spandau Air Base in Germany. The F-15s will, and the F-16s will now be running through for a fast pass and then once more for a slightly slower run to finish. The F-15, without question, one of the world's most outstanding combat aircraft, conceived in the 1960s, taking into account lessons learned during the Vietnam War. The US Air Force procured it as its new air superiority fighter, and the prototype of the F-15A model took to the air in July 1972. Service entry followed in 76, and Eagles of the US Air Force, Israel and Saudi Arabia together have more than 100 reported air-to-air kills, 34 of those being scored by the US Air Force in Operation Desert Storm, the first Gulf War, in 1991 alone. The F-15E, meanwhile, was developed on the basis of the standard two-seat Eagle variant as a multi-role or swing-role aircraft with the weapons systems operator in the rear seat and full fuel tanks on the fuselage sides for increased range. Strike Eagle's first flight was in December 1986, and deliveries to the US Air Force began a couple of years later. Here come the F-15Cs of the Grim Reapers once more. Then we've got the Strike Eagle, which has three members from both the 494th Fighter Squadron's sister unit, the 492nd, the Mad Hatters. The F-15E proved its multi-role attributes during the First Gulf War, which saw its combat debut, when one of them scored an air-to-air kill of a helicopter. Only this June, the F-15E shot down a UAV of pro-Syrian government forces. Yes, it's been operated by the USAS in both the air and the air-ground roles. The focus of the unit at Baghdad is what they call SEAD, suppression of enemy air defences, so-called wild weasel. 18 aircraft and more than 260 airmen from the 480th Fighter Squadron, the Warhawks, are currently at RAF Lakenheath for a period of joint training which will last several weeks. They are running in from the right now. Mark, we remember with this formation flypast by the various U-safety fighters the history of these types in the US Air Force, but also the long history of Anglo-American cooperation in air power. In particular in World War II, when there were a number of Americans that were flying with the Royal Air Force. The Air Force decided that the Americans serving the Royal Air Force, plus any new future recruits, would be put on their own bespoke squadron, which became known as the Eagle Squadron. The first one was number 71, which was formed in September of 1914, followed by numbers 121 and 133 squadrons over the preceding 12 months. During the years after that, their greatest test came on the 19th of August 1942, when all three squadrons were involved in Operation Jubilee, landings at Riat. This large-scale raid by British and Canadian troops on the French coast was supported by a huge Royal Air Force effort, but in particular the Eagle Squadron. In September 1942, the Eagle Squadrons were transferred to the United States Army Air Force, and at that point the squadrons became known as all three squadrons share a privileged, almost unbroken. Operating with Sabre during the Korean War, Phantom during the Vietnam War, and the F-15 Eagle, as you see here in front of you, over Iraq in the First World War on Operation Iraqi Freedom, and subsequently Enduring Freedom, where the circle of combined operations with the Royal Air Force was completed when they operated alongside the Tornado GR-1s of the Royal Air Force in the ground attack range. We have those squadrons as F-15E operators stationed at Seymour Johnson. Benjamin from the F-22A Raptor demo team is here to tell you about it shortly.
We are ready for
Right, time's now 2:30.